Hi everyone, and welcome to the June Masterclass. And we've got the lovely Cayce Eastwood from Cayce Eastwood Coaching, and she is a certified self-belief coach. So she works with creative business owners, and she came to me about doing a talk on self-doubt, and specifically to fit with our theme for this month about how it can sort of lead to like lack of trust in our vision, and how to move forward. And I know she's got a great presentation planned and also a future self visualization as well, which I'm really excited to do as well. So yeah, Cayce, please introduce yourself and I'll leave it over to you. And yeah, I know everyone's excited, and I've said it's a really lovely, welcoming group here we've got. So yeah, any questions, guys? I'm sure. Let me know if you would rather have questions throughout or at the end. But yeah, good to you.
I'm going to try to have my chat open while I'm doing the presentation. I'm going to share my screen in just a minute. So if you have any questions, just feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll either answer them at the end. In the middle, I can answer any questions. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And can you see that okay?
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, let me just move, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to talk about moving past self-doubt to clarity today. And first, a little bit about me. So I'm Cayce Eastwood. I run a letterpress business. I've been running that for over 10 years. I mostly sell on Etsy. There's an example of some of my work in the photo. And about 18 months ago, I started training in coaching and working specifically with other creative small business owners who have self-doubt, who are struggling with things like perfectionism and procrastination, and how that is holding them back from building the businesses that they want to build. I'm very passionate about this work because I know firsthand how much my self-doubt held me back in my creative business. I had so many dreams and plans for my business, and anytime I would try to move forward, my self-doubt would just come up, and I would stay stuck. I have notebooks upon notebooks of ideas where I wrote down, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I would start and then I would stop. And so it's been a journey, but I've had coaching, and through my own coach training, I'm learning how to be really gentle with myself, to be really compassionate with myself, to understand where my self-doubt has come from, to thank it for its protection, and then to start to take the actions that I need to grow as a person and as a business. In the screen that says learned, it's learning. It's definitely a process. Every day trying to just take that next step forward and keep going, and knowing that if I keep going and keep moving in the right direction, I will hopefully achieve my goals. And so that's why I love working with other creatives to help them to do the same. So Joanne shared this was your theme for the month: to find clarity and confidence, to gain a clear perspective, to set your business's future direction, strategy, and actions with clear steps on how you need to move forward. And I think that self-doubt can show up in so many different aspects of this process. It can show up in the clarity aspect with choosing goals, setting goals, believing that you can achieve the goals. And then once you kind of have a vision for where you want to go, you get to that action step, and self-doubt is right there again, kind of stopping you from taking the actions, even though you know that you want to. You just kind of feel stuck where you are. So I'm kind of going to go through a few different things. So we'll start with kind of a small introduction to self-doubt. We'll talk about how self-doubt can interfere with the planning and the larger kind of vision aspect of running your business. And then the more specific actions, the self-doubt loop, how it shows up on kind of a day-to-day basis as you're trying to take action on your business. And then at the end, we'll have the visualization that Joanne mentioned. I think, so what is self-doubt? Essentially, it's just part of your brain's inbuilt protection mechanism. We all know, back in the caveman days, we were always on the lookout for those physical dangers, wildebeests or mammoths or whatever. And now we're have that same level of risk assessment, but it's for psychological risks. And we think of the most common of those being, excuse me, things like rejection, conflict, disappointment, judgment, failure, and even success. And it feels funny sometimes to think of success on that list, but it's one of those things where it can be so far outside of somebody's comfort zone, the feeling of being successful, that it feels risky, that it feels like something that you wouldn't be able to manage or handle. And so that self-doubt part of us is always looking out for those risks. The risks, what you find risky is completely personal to you. And it's made up of your lived experiences, the stories that you tell yourself, the stories that you've heard, beliefs that you've picked up and carried with you, often from a very young age. And so when it comes to things like taking action, what you find risky and what somebody else finds risky can be completely different. And that's why we have such different personal reactions to risk taking and to moving forward and to taking action. Some things you find completely easy, and it can even change on a day-to-day basis based on lots of different things, even how well you slept the night before, but your kind of in the moment reaction to the risk. Kind of two things to remember about self-doubt is it's completely natural and normal response. And even if it doesn't feel rational, nothing has gone wrong if you are experiencing self-doubt. It can be really easy to feel negative about yourself or to wonder, why can't I just do that thing? But, like I said, it's completely natural and normal and nothing has gone wrong. And two, having self-doubt says nothing about your capability or your destiny. So even if you doubt your ability to achieve your goals, that's not truth. That's just kind of the story and the beliefs that you're holding. And there is another story that you can kind of learn and accept. So when we're thinking about kind of the overall picture of ourselves, I think it can be helpful to imagine that there are different parts of you. So for the purposes of this, I'll just talk about a few of them, but you are sort of made up of all of your parts, and these are a few different parts of you. So the healthy adult self is kind of your calm decision-making part. It has access to all of your strengths, the visions and dreams that you have for your future, the belief that you're worthy and capable, and the trust to know that you can follow your own desires, the acceptance that you're okay as you are, and the grounded, present, compassionate part of you, even when you make mistakes. So yeah, so this kind of has access to all of the positive beliefs and feelings that you have about yourself. And then another part I like to think of on the flip side of that is the inner protector. And this is the part of you that's always vigilant, always looking out for any risks. And this is the part that holds all the memories of the past fear and the hurt and is trying to keep you from experiencing those things again. Like I mentioned before, self-doubt can be really difficult. It can be easy to have negative feelings about it and want it to go away and try to ignore it. But instead, we can start to listen to this part of ourselves and honor those fears. Then you can begin to kind of change your relationship with your self-doubt and start coming to the place where you can take the actions that you need to, even with the self-doubt, because it is something that isn't going to go away because it's an inbuilt part of us, but it's kind of choosing to say, okay, I'll listen to this part, but I am choosing to believe a different story. And that is a big kind of process of getting, comfortable with choosing different beliefs. Is that all starting to, does that make sense so far? Yeah. I saw that somebody commented that people saying fear of success is coming up a lot recently. I think, yeah, it is. It can be really interesting because you think, why would I be scared of that? It's what I want. But because it is so far outside of a lot of people's comfort zones, then it just feels risky and scary. So, so going on to kind of another part, and this I like to think of as the sovereign, and thinking about kind of the clarity and the planning and the goals. The sovereign is your inner leader. So this is the part of you that helps you know that you're capable and gifted and that it's safe to try things out. And the sovereign kind of holds the vision for your life. So when you're in that planning, dreaming stage, you're kind of tapping into that energy. And when you claim your sovereign energy, you're believing in yourselves in two ways. You're dreaming for what you want in your lives, and then you're also championing yourself and your capabilities and keeping yourself motivated to pursue the vision that you have. And so they all kind of interact together. Like I said, they're all you, they're just different parts. So when your protector is strong, when you have a lot of self-doubt, when that's kind of taking the lead, your connection with your sovereign energy can be low and you can find it difficult to know what you want. So you have a hard time connecting with that vision for your life, and you struggle to acknowledge the skills and the capabilities and the strengths that you have. And you can also get to a point where you might want something, but the belief that you're capable of achieving it is really low. And so you would then maybe hold yourself back or change those dreams or change those goals because the protector part of you is kind of saying, no, that's not possible for you. And so as you practice kind of connecting with this visionary part of you, then you can begin to gain the clarity of what you really desire and what you believe you're capable of achieving. And so part of the visualization that we're going to do later, I'm not sure what's on the next screen, actually, let me check. No, okay, I'll go back. So part of the visualization that we're going to do later is doing a future visualization where you'll kind of connect to the vision a little bit and then actually enter a bit of a conversation with the sovereign to just to start building that connection with that part of yourself. And it's something that you could do again after today if you find that it's a helpful exercise to keep building that connection. So now thinking about, you've got the vision, you've connected to that aspect of yourself, the sovereign aspect, you know your goals, and you are starting to take action. And this is where self-doubt can kind of show up on a day-to-day basis. And this is the self-doubt loop. The woman that I trained with, Sass Petherick, she talks a lot about self-doubt, and this is her kind of conceptualization of what happens when you start to take action that feels risky. So it depicts what happens during an experience of self-doubt. It's not kind of concrete steps like this, but it just helps to see what's going on and why. And then understanding this process can help when you feel yourself resisting taking the actions that you need to take to move forward towards your goals. So the first step is contemplating, and you enter the loop when you begin to contemplate a task. What matters is not the task, but your vulnerability about the task or its impact. So I'm going to kind of come up with an example that goes around the loop of sending an email. So you send emails every day. Most of them you can write and send off without a second thought. But your protector is always assessing risk, and some emails might hold more risk than others. So, for example, if a goal of your business is that you want to get more publicity, and to do that, you have to reach out to a magazine editor or whatever. If you have a sensitivity to rejection or to judgment or something like that, that might activate your self-doubt, because sending that email, there might be a risk of rejection or disappointment. Yeah, I think, Thalia, that's very common. So hopefully this can help you to understand kind of what's going on with that. So again, the risks are things like rejection, conflict, judgment, failure, complexity, and disappointment and success. So once you contemplate the action and you enter the loop, then the self-doubt alarm is activated. And essentially that says, don't do that, you might get hurt. This might feel illogical, it might feel disproportionate, like it's just an email. Why am I having so much trouble with this? But, you know, again, based on your personal reaction to whatever that risk is, then it's kind of perfectly natural that actually, if I'm risking, judgment, and I'm very sensitive to that, then, why it would feel so difficult. So once the alarm is raised, then you can begin to feel a sense of discomfort. Now, this can be in a lot of different ways, and it can be different levels of intensity. Sometimes, again, depending on the day and the time, it might be quite low, but it can be things like experiencing an inner voice or something telling you that you shouldn't take the action. It can be difficult emotions. Body sensations are really common. I find that when I'm doing something, I get like warmth and kind of tightness in my chest and my throat. You could have memories of like related past experiences, or kind of catastrophizing the future. So you think no one's ever going to, well, if I do this and it all goes wrong, and you just think about all the negative things that could happen as the result of, in this case, sending an email. And so when that discomfort is raised, the next step is resistance. And it makes complete sense then that you would resist taking action. And because your body and your brain doesn't want to experience that discomfort anymore. So there are 6 kind of ways that are really common for resistance to show up. These things obviously don't always show up only for self-doubt, but they do show up for self-doubt. So procrastination, we all know procrastination. Well, I don't know if we all know procrastination. I know procrastination very well. And it can often be really productive. Like you sit down to write the email and then you answer 10 other emails, and then, oh, I ran out of time and I'm going to put that, onto my list tomorrow. Perfectionism, spending hours laboring over the right words to say in your email. You could, oh, I don't have the right pictures of my product, or I don't have, my website set up right, or, I don't have, everything's not perfect. And if it's not perfect, then it will get rejected. So I'm not going to send it off until everything is perfect. But of course, what's perfect? Passive behaviors. So while you sit down to write your email, Facebook's there, I'll just, check it, and you spend an hour consuming instead of doing the task that you're meant to be doing. Paralysis, so that's like overwhelm. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. So I'm just not going to do anything at all. And yeah, you just like, I'll just deal with that another day. It's too hard. Put it on the too hard problem. Yeah, I see that a lot of these are resonating with you all. Proving yourself, I think I was kind of, excuse me, maybe not so much, I suppose, with this email example, but in other instances. So working really hard for validation. So it can be, if somebody gets back to you, say, and they say, oh, I like that picture. Can you send me, a couple more of your products or whatever? And then you kind of go way overboard to make sure that you prove to them that you're worthy of them taking the time to work with you. And then people pleasing. I think we all do it at some point, but it can definitely show up with self-doubt. So making sure that people approve and like you. And so you end up resisting taking the actions in these ways, and you don't end up taking the action oftentimes. Now there's different ways to, you can force yourself to do things. So there's a lot of tips and tricks, 5 ways to hack your perfectionism, 10 ways to get rid of your procrastination. And you can push through them for a little while, and you can take action, and you can make changes. But if you don't sort of understand the root causes of it, if you don't understand why you're resisting the action in the first place, then eventually that you'll stop, you'll get stuck again. I found that with myself a lot. I would, start taking, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, post every day on Instagram for a month. And then, after a few days, it just starts to feel too hard because I never, was understanding why I was resisting doing it in the first place. And then finally, the last one is pattern. Yeah. So pattern is, I'd say it's not kind of part of the loop, but it's sort of an overall, as you going through this loop over and over and over with things, your preferred ways of resistance can become a pattern and can even start to be part of who we think we are. So, I'm terrible at finishing what I start. That was something that one of my patterns, I suppose, one of my beliefs. I am a procrastinator. Not that I procrastinate, but that it's a part of who I am. And then when it gets to that point, you start doing those things, maybe even when there's no risk there, because, it's just become a part of how you work and who you believe that you are. And so I've found personally that awareness is kind of the first step in breaking out of that self-doubt loop. So really starting to understand your risk sensitivities, your preferred methods of resistance, and then just slowly trying to support yourself to make the changes in a gradual and in a way that doesn't feel like it's constantly pushing up against those boundaries. Because again, and like you mentioned, Thalia, that it can just start to be too much and then you just stop again. Does anybody have any questions about any of that so far? No? Okay, great. I'm glad that that you guys have found that helpful. When I started learning all about that, I was like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. Like now I kind of understand why I'm doing these things. And so I guess now we can move on to the visualization. Again, the purpose of this visualization is to start a conversation with your sovereign, the part of you that is your inner leader and that holds the vision that you have for your life. We'll start by envisioning your future. We'll go 3 years in the future and you just imagine kind of what your business looks like at that time. And then we'll describe the sovereign aspect of you, ask if you're willing to step into that self, and then talk directly as that self. And then switch back to your normal self, and then give you an opportunity to kind of acknowledge the messages that that part of you has sent to yourself. It maybe is a little bit confusing in that description, but hopefully it makes sense as we're going through it. And then finally, I'll help you to anchor the experience in your body so that you can access it more easily later. I haven't actually set it out. I think it's going to take about 20 minutes. And then when we're done with the call, if you want a few minutes afterwards to kind of write down notes about your experience, that could be really good. So I encourage you to kind of settle into a comfortable place and turn off any distractions. And finally, and turn off your camera if you feel more comfortable doing that. And then your experience is your experience. There's no right way to do it. And I encourage you not to judge what happens and just let it be what it is. All right. So, excuse me, I'm just going to grab a drink real fast. So, find a nice, comfortable position, either sitting up or lying down. Let your eyes close. Allow yourself to take some gentle, deep breaths in and out. With each inhale, breathe in creativity and vitality. With each exhale, let go of any tension or worry. Again, breathe in deeply and breathe out completely. As you connect with your breath, start to notice what sensations you feel in your body. You might become aware of your belly rising and falling with each breath. Take some time to relax your body. Allow yourself to be fully supported by the ground beneath you. Now imagine a warm, glowing light in the center of your chest. Allow that warm light to begin radiating throughout your entire body as it melts away any tension or worry. Let the warmth expand through your upper back and shoulders, up your neck, and up through the crown of your head. Let it run down your arms and out the tips of your fingers, allowing you to relax even more. Then let that warm glowing light move down to your pelvis, through your legs, to your feet, and to the tips of your toes. As you let these soothing sensations radiate through each and every cell of your body, you become more peaceful and calm. Now that you feel relaxed, allow yourself to imagine that it is 3 years in the future. As we begin this journey, allow yourself to picture where you do your work. See the space where you turn your dreams into reality, where you pursue your passions, where you make a difference. Notice what is around you. Look around and take in what this environment is like. Is it large and expansive, or small and intimate? What are the colors, textures, and smell of this place? What is the energy like? Is it exciting and thrilling, serene and grounding, or perhaps inspirational and uplifting? Now, go to a specific spot in this workspace. Perhaps it's a table and chair, a counter, a spot on a stage or in front of an easel, or a seat at a desk by a computer. Maybe it's outside in the open air. Visualize wherever it is that you can truly engage with your work. Take in the essence of this specific spot. What does it tell you about your business and how you run it? Now take a look around you. Do you work alone, or are there other people with you? Perhaps coworkers, customers, friends, family, partners. Who are they? What are they doing? What do they say about working with you? Now allow yourself to connect with what brings you the most joy and fulfillment in your work in the future. What is it that you truly enjoy about your business? What is it that what values are you honoring in your work? How are they a reflection of what your company is known for? What legacy are you leaving through your work? Now imagine that you've achieved your goals and dreams. What successes and milestones have you celebrated? What awards or recognition have you received? What is new or different in your business? What new products or services are you offering? How have you grown, expanded, or evolved? Just notice the energy of yourself 3 years in the future, living from self-belief, connected to your sovereign vision. Really allow yourself to take in the full experience of living and breathing your work in the future. Know that it is a reflection of who you are, a representation of your values, voice, and vision. And now that you have connected with a vision from your future, we're going to meet your inner sovereign. Your sovereign is full of encouragement and support for you. It believes in you. All it wants for you is a life that suits you, that allows you to be yourself, to feel fulfilled, fully expressed, and to know that your life has meaning because it's yours. Your sovereign self only speaks to you with compassion, is nurturing and generous, believes in you. Your sovereign self recognizes how much grace there is in vulnerability and making mistakes and getting things wrong. It knows this is how you grow. Your sovereign self believes in you even when you mess up and fail. It is gently nudging you to step up, to embrace what you want for yourself. It values and loves regardless of what you do or don't do. When you think about your sovereign self, what comes up? Just allow this to form. You might see your inner sovereign as a resource or a guide. It might feel male or female, like an animal or a beam of light. It might be a sensation in your body or an energy. However your sovereign is represented for you is perfect. There is no right way to do this. You get to make this your own. Now, imagine that this part of you is sitting in front of you. Take in this energy and just let it be what it is. Even if it even if it feels unclear right now, just imagine that there is a part of you that is your sovereign sitting in front of you. Now, I would like you to step into your sovereign self so I can talk to that part directly. And by stepping in, I mean shifting in your chair or sitting in a different position. You take your sovereign's place and speak as if you are your sovereign. I invite you to respond out loud to the questions, even if just to whisper to yourself, and try not to judge what comes up for you. You might see images or experience sensations in your body. You might sense a voice. This can be a very subtle process, and you might only get information about a couple of questions. Just let whatever is happening bubble up into your consciousness and let it be what it is. So, if you are willing to step into your sovereign, you can shift in your seat. And I'll be speaking directly to your sovereign for the next part of this process. So, you're the sovereign, is that right? It's so wonderful to meet you. I think you are the part that believes wholeheartedly in your person. I think you have been watching for the entire lifetime of your person. And I bet you have seen some heartbreaking moments when your person didn't believe in herself. Is that right? Can you recall one of those times? Can you remember some of the stories your person was thinking about herself at the time? Sovereign, you and I know that your person was born innocent of these stories. She learned this along the way. Can you remember when she learned this? Sovereign, that must have been so hard for your person to make sense of. You believe in and value your person wholeheartedly, and you know the impact of this story better than I could ever understand. I'm wondering if you could have said anything to your person at the time. What did she need to hear? What would you have said? And if she could have heard that, what might she have made of the story? What a generous and kind offer. I know that it is never too late for your person to hear these words. Right now, something has begun to heal. And I wonder, as you sit here now with your person and she is listening to you, perhaps for the first time, what would you like her to know? I want to honor you for the role you have been playing in your person's life. You are the compassionate visionary, and you have been sending little morsels of inspiration to your person for her whole life, ideas of what was possible for her, what would bring her fulfillment. and your person may not have believed she was able to create this. Now she is doing the courageous work of opening up to the capacities and resources within her. I think it would make such a difference to know you are always here, to feel your presence, to ask for your leadership energy to rise up in her. It might be that you connect to her in words, an image, or something else. So, how will she know you are here? I'm so grateful to you for talking to me. Thank you. Sovereign, I'd like you to step back now so you can hear this from the other side. Okay, just take a moment to shift back to your original position. Move to your original place so that you are back in your regular self. Take a moment to breathe deeply. I've been talking to the part of you that is your sovereign self. I've asked about the sovereign's role in your life of supporting you to bring your vision into being. I've also asked your sovereign to let you know how you can connect to this part of you. When you are ready, just recall this, what came up for you. And how does it feel to know that you have a part like this whose entire job is to believe in you? Just sink into this feeling and let it expand a little. We're going to anchor this into your body so you can access it later. Is there a place in your body where this feeling lives? Just scan your body as you feel that love and support from your sovereign. Where in your body are you experiencing any sensations? And what is this sensation like? Does it have a shape or size, a color? Recalling what you've described, does this description with its color, shape, or size remind you of anything? If it's an expansive golden feeling, is it like the sun? If it's a fizzing in your chest, is it like a shield? What does it remind you of? Finally, go inside that place in your body one more time. Focus on this sensation, the size, shape, and color of this feeling that reminds you of the support and love you have from your sovereign. Ask yourself, what loving and true thing does this feeling have to say about me, to me? Something that might start with I am. Amazing. In a few moments, I'll count back from 3 to 1. At the count of 1, you will be awake and renewed, knowing that you can remember everything you need of your future vision and your connection with your sovereign. 3, coming back now, becoming more alive and awake. 2, wiggling your fingers and toes, moving your body and feeling the temperature of your skin. And 1, eyes open whenever you're ready. Um, so I hope that um, that was good for you and useful. Is there anything that anybody would like to share? Only if you feel comfortable, of course.
That was so good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think I'll take the recording out as well as an audio file and upload it for everyone too. But yeah, it was so good just to go into like in and out of the sovereign, and I definitely want to listen to it back when I'm not coughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Juliet said she got emotional, and yeah.
Oh, amazing. Okay, well, I think that's kind of the end of what I wanted to talk about today. I will share my screen one more time just to put my website up there. And I am actually running a free email challenge next week that's about embracing imperfection. I know perfectionism is something that I've struggled with a lot, and it's going to just be, it's just kind of 5 days of emails about kind of tapping into or kind of being comfortable with imperfection. So if you're interested, there's a sign up for that on my website.
Sounds good.
Let me just go over there. So that is it. And also, I mentioned earlier on about how awareness can be really key for kind of understanding your own self-doubt and how it's showing up for you. And I do have some journaling prompts as well on my website if anybody is interested in exploring that further, specifically about how it shows up in kind of different aspects of people's business. So yeah, thank you so much, Joanne, for letting me come and talk to you guys today. And please do get in touch. Let me know if anybody has any questions or anything. And I look. So, Alexandra, is the sovereign our higher self? Not really. I think. I don't know if higher self is I think it's just kind of a part of us. So it's the part of us that sort of is the visionary part of us. And we can tap into that part of us when we want to connect with sort of what we want in the future. I don't know. I know you maybe came in a little bit late. So if you go, I think Joanne will put the recording up and you can kind of go in and I talk a little bit about it earlier in the presentation.
Yeah, because I was feeling like that as well. I was sort of feeling it feels like similar to our higher self almost, as sort of similar properties.
Yeah.
What was the better word? Probably a better word. But yeah. But I suppose that's the where who can hold the vision, isn't it? And then can almost like protect us from the protector, like when the self-doubt is showing up strongly.
Yeah, so it holds on to the belief, and it's the part that you can, if you're really experiencing a lot of self-doubt, then I kind of think of the healthy adult self can sort of converse with that, with that sovereign part of you to be like, oh, what do we need right now? What belief do we need in ourselves to, move forward in this kind of specific moment? So are there any other questions or?
No, it's just someone say something then. No, it's at me. No. Yeah, I think just like, yeah, I think the thanking the self-doubt for its protection, like knowing it has self-doubt has nothing to do with like your capability or destiny was like a few things, but it was good to see that loop, and I think a lot of people really identified with that. And yeah, that talking to the sovereign so you can like, because yeah, like there's something that's keep coming up a lot in like sessions is like having just that awareness to begin with is super key to like move past. So
yeah, like I said, when I first kind of saw all this laid out like that, I was like, oh, it makes so much sense now. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's easy to kind of move through. It takes, like I said, it's a process and it takes time, but yeah, So.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm finding as well. It's like mindset stuff is so important, but people just don't think it's as important. And also it's like it's kind of, it's confronting to do in a way, but if you do it, it's so good. So
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily fun work all the time, but I think it is important. So yeah,
good. So
amazing.
yeah, but no, thanks so much for joining. Yeah, please do, if anyone shares anything, please do tag Cayce. And yeah, thanks so much for that. It was, yeah, I do that. Future visualization would be really good. So yeah.
Great, amazing.
Enjoyed
All
it.
right, well, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thanks everyone for coming, and chat to you all soon.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.